All right. Are you ready?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just sit here until you're ready.
Okay. Okay. There we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Thanks, as always, for joining us. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Hey, Kyle. How are you?
Game over, Robbie. Game over, man. Game over. I'm doing okay. How about you?
Doing well. Doing well. Thank you. Good to be back for another episode, and it's game on for this episode.
Yeah.
Bam. Anyway, happy to be back with you folks, like I just said, and happy as always to have our sponsors, Zyman Organizing and Wes Woodson. Thank you as always for your support and your sponsorship of this show. Really do appreciate it. Anyway, tonight we're going to continue kind of a trend that we started last episode. If you watched last episode, you'll remember that we discussed baseball rules that we liked, didn't like, mainly just ranting about the extra inning runner rule.
Yeah, that was
So we
Pretty
thought
much
we thought we could. It's still horrible.
Yep.
We thought
that hasn't changed.
No, that hasn't changed. So we thought we'd continue sort of that trend this week and talk some football rules. Yes, the good old sport of American football, not soccer, but football. Because Kyle has actually played football. I mean, I did too for a couple years, but really, let's be honest, I basically barely saw the field. But Kyle played all 4 years of high school, and all that good stuff. So we wanted to discuss, a sport that we both have enjoyed watching over the years and have played in various capacities and all that good stuff. So I guess, Kyle, let's get into it here. I know you and I were kind of talking about this a bit off air. When you think about football rules, just in general, just in even a broad sense, what sort of comes to mind in your mind when it comes to football rules?
I mean, like when you compare it to some of the newer rules that they put in baseball, for the most part, I'm pretty satisfied, honestly, with a lot of the rules. I mean, I feel like they haven't done a whole lot of major changes overall with football. I feel like they've kept a lot of the core rules pretty much the same. Save for some overtime rules and stuff like that. I think everything else is just pretty yeah, I'd say the game for the most part, as far as I understand, at least, it seems pretty fair. There don't seem to be any the second baseman runner level of bad, just offensively bad rule changes or anything like that. So
yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. I would tend to agree, and it's interesting you bring up overtime rules, because that's something we were talking about before we came on the air. Is in the NFL there really has been a sort of a transformation of the league's overtime rules as the last few years have gone on, and actually this past year there was a big change in terms of the overtime rules, where what was I going to say? We're now in the playoffs. Specifically, both teams are guaranteed a possession in overtime, regardless of what the first team does, whether they score a touchdown, does not matter. The other team still automatically gets a chance to have the ball. And it definitely, like I said, the overtime rules in the NFL have definitely evolved over the past few years because it started with literally whoever scored first wins, and that was kind
Kind
of
of like a sudden death thing,
it's
right?
exactly, and that was kind of a bone of contention for a while because like basically it seemed like whoever won the overtime coin toss would win the game, and
Right.
then they adapted it to, well, if the first team to get the ball kicks a field goal or doesn't score, then the other team gets a possession. But if the first team gets a touchdown, then the game is still over. And even that was a little bit tough because, like, I think back a couple of years ago in the playoffs, I remember it was Kansas City versus Buffalo, and literally Kansas City um, scored a touchdown on the opening drive, and people, especially Bills fans, were really upset that they didn't get like a chance to possess the ball,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the fact that Kansas City
Yeah.
scored. So that's why they amended it last season. Like at the end of last season, they amended it where, like I said, if you score, even if you're, and this is just for the playoffs, like I said, the rule of if a team kicks a field goal or doesn't score first and the other team gets it still applies for the regular season. But for the playoffs, both teams get the ball, regardless of what happens the first team's possession. And I think that's really
Mm-hmm.
good. I think that's really good because yeah, it promotes a bit more fairness, especially in a game like a playoff game where like the stakes are so high. Like basically, you win or you go home. So I think
Yeah.
that that's a really good sort of addition, sort of tweak to make there, so that way neither team can sort of go. Neither team can sort of go home like with a sour taste in their mouth. It's the fairest way to do it. So I personally
Yeah.
really like it. I personally really like the changes they've made and how they sort of tweak things over the past few years.
Yeah, that was okay. So that was one of the things where I was a little mixed at first because I especially it was kind of more me like understanding what the rule really was about, and after you had kind of phrased it that way, and I was thinking, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Like you're right, you wouldn't want the sudden death in this particular game would not work as well. It doesn't
Right.
feel quite as earned.
Right.
So you're right. I think I guess like the one downside is like it does make the game longer, and if the game is already going on pretty late, then that's kind of a drag. But having said that, at least like you're right. At least like they'll have more of an earned victory in that sense. Like
Yeah.
they'll at least like both teams. You're right. Like you said. Like I think you phrased it well. Like both teams will walk away. They don't. They're like, all right, well, I can see why we lost. I can see why we won, and it's not just like, oh, we just because of someone was just lucky and was in the right place at the right time, and they happened to drive the ball home, or they were just like, we're just like positioned to score right away. So you're right. It does give that kind of like more like fair overtime, if you will. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
I agree. I think fairness is definitely the key word there, and I think that the way they have it now is definitely, I think, the fairest way possible
mm-hmm.
to decide a game, and I think that they've done a good job of sort of adjusting the rules and stuff like that as time has gone along, and not just sort of staying steadfast and like this is the way we must do it.
Yeah.
They've done a good job, but the NFL hasn't sort of updating and tweaking as needed as time has gone along. So
Yeah, that's good. It's kind of like when you're. This is gonna be a funny comparison, but when you're like when you're like making a game, a video game, and maybe sometimes the game comes out and it maybe it plays mostly fine, but there's stuff and that you need to tweak, and then the developers will constantly like they'll be like, okay, we'll throw some patches in, update the game, and you see the game kind of like building up and getting better and more playable from there. And you're right, that's kind of this. I feel like the same idea like with the NFL and yeah, yeah, no, it's and if you think about it too, like because other sports too, they have the whole sudden death thing. It works better for like soccer, hockey, even basketball in that sense, but like that's because like offense and defense happens like so quick. There's so much overturning and stuff like that. Whereas in football, it's like way much more of a yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's true, and it's interesting because when you kind of look at like the overtime rules, like it sort of varies by level. Because like just for those of you who don't know at home, so we went over the sort of the NFL overtime rules, and then college is it's a different set of rules. So actually, it's not overtime is not timed in college football. It's each team gets a possession starting at the opponent's 25-yard line, and basically you go period by period, and whoever has more points in that particular period wins the overtime period wins the game. So like regardless for either regular season, bowl games, playoff, whatever the case may be, both teams get a possession each overtime period, and it's just a question of who scores more points wins. Right? And then high school, and I know Kyle actually was involved in a high school football overtime game senior year against Needham, which we won't get too much into.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of a different overtime game. Never mind.
What game were you thinking of?
No, I thought there was another game. No, you know what? Never mind. Keep going.
Okay. All right, fair enough. No, but and the high school overtime rules is that both teams get the ball. Again, it's not timed. Both teams get the ball from the 10-yard line, and basically sort of the same thing as college. Like each team gets in, whoever scores the more points wins. So it kind of varies, again depending on the level. I think overtime rules are in each level are a good fit for that particular level. I definitely like the whole idea of both teams getting a possession of the ball, and I'm glad to see that all three levels now have incorporated that into their overtime rules. I think it's a very good and fair way to be going about it. So I definitely think that they've all made the right moves in that regard. So
valid point.
That's pretty much all. I mean, that's kind of like the big rule, like a discussion of the night, sort of the overtime rules. That's been kind of like a big change over the past few years, especially on the NFL side. Is there anything else, football rules wise, that you want to go over, or are you pretty well set here?
No, I'm pretty good. I think there was one other rule about the formation of like kickoff or something like that.
Kyle's looking up NFL rules to try to figure out what to say here, and
this one I was just too confused by.
He was getting very deep into the weeds of the NFL rule book, and I kind of be like, we really don't have to go over every single little rule of the NFL.
Well, no, I just wanted to see if I can. Well, that's why I was gonna throw it to the viewers. So if you guys can clarify that rule to me a bit more, I was so confused reading it. I'm like, what is this? Like, to me, it didn't seem like that bad of a rule change, but maybe you guys have a different opinion. So maybe you guys can chime maybe you can say, oh, Kyle and Robbie, you guys.
I don't even know what Kyle's talking about, so I don't have an opinion.
So even Robbie doesn't know. That's why I need you guys to kind of chime in here. So
basically, folks, So basically, folks, if you have any thoughts on football rules of your own, just in general, definitely feel free to drop us a comment. We always love getting your comments, even though you guys don't comment. But we'd love to get some comments. So please feel free to do so down below there. So we're gonna move on then to the end portion of our episode, where I'm going to give a final thought, a very simple final thought, and that is that one of my favorite tournaments of the sports calendar year just wrapped up last night, actually, and it's the College World Series. So basically the college baseball, Division I college baseball championship series just wrapped up last night with LSU defeating Florida in the championship game. So I just wanted to congratulate LSU for winning the College World Series and taking home the title. So well done to the Tigers. Actually, the second title for LSU in as many sort of seasons in the sense that the LSU women's basketball team just won the national title. So like basically they had a winter sports team win it, and now a spring sports team win it. So big things going on at LSU in terms of athletics. So big kudos to them. And the other thing I just wanted to say, I know this is a little bit somber, but um, it just sort of broke this evening, so it sort of bears mentioning. I wanted to sort of give some condolences to the family of Ryan Mallett. For those of you who don't know who Ryan Mallett is, he was a former NFL quarterback, former Patriots backup quarterback, who unfortunately passed away suddenly, just within the last. It was either today or yesterday. I couldn't quite remember. So, just wanted to. Just saw the news break and definitely remember him from his days as a Patriots backup quarterback, and just seemed like a good enough guy, and like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with his family, and definitely our utmost condolences on his loss. So rest in peace to Ryan Mallett. Just what I wanted to say to close out my final thought. Never like to get somber here, but definitely just felt appropriate to say. So anyway, brightening the mood sort of back up here, I'm going to now turn the microphone, not the real microphone, but I can't think of the word at the moment. But turn it over to Kyle basically for another edition of the Suze Reviews. So Kyle, take it away.
All right, mine's honestly actually gonna be very quick too. Okay. I'm not gonna review anything tonight, so I'm gonna do something a little different.
The Suze Reviews and there's no review. What is this madness? What is happening?
What the hell?
Are we in Inception right now? What is happening?
Probably. Leonardo DiCaprio is actually sitting in the corner there, so you can't see him, but
he's there.
Dream world. But anyways,
you need to envision it. You need to envision him just being there.
Yeah, it'd be so cool if we had.
Just flip the camera. There's just Leonardo DiCaprio just sitting there, not like just hanging out, being like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And we're just like, "Wait, how did you even get in here?"
Exactly. So this one actually was. I didn't realize that they had already done this. They had already picked this, but. As of today, as of the date that this is being filmed,
which is, by the way, just for the record, just want to get on record, June 27th, 2023.
Yes, that's right. So, and that's even the day of the article too that was written. So,
snap!
Like literally, everything's all.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
So the new Superman movie.
Oh, shut up.
No, you're good. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I think I'm just tired. I'm like trying to figure out a way to like. It's a segue to like.
I'm just babbling over here. So.
Oh man, but you know what? There's no easy way to say it, so I'm just gonna say it. Superman Legacy, the new movie that's coming out in apparently 2025. The new Superman movie. It's gonna kick off the new DC universe. James Gunn's directing. I'm sure you guys have heard all that news. So they apparently found their leads. Yeah, really. Robbie doesn't. I mean, Robbie's a big Superman fan. And big DC fan. Just a big comic book fan in general. But he needs to catch up with the times. You know, Robbie, just... No. But...
I don't think anybody believed that. If they watched our show long enough, they...
I tried to do it with a straight face, but no. So yeah, they had found the leads for the new Superman movie. So they have found the new Superman and Lois, actually, apparently. Which is kind of odd, because usually...
Wait, Lois Griffin from Family Guy?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
They're doing in live action, yeah. The live action Family Guy movie.
Oh my god, that would... What would that... I don't mean to derail your Suze Reviews here for a second, but like, can you imagine what that would look like? A Family Guy, like, live action, like, real life, like, Family Guy movie?
It'd be weird. I mean, I know they did it with the Flintstones, so I guess...
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, John Goodman, and...
wow, I did not even know that. Well, there is a guy that, like, on YouTube, like, goes around, like, and his, like, characters, like, real-life Peter Griffin. So maybe they could have him come and, like, play, like, real-life Peter Griffin.
Perfect. See, there we go. This guy's the casting director.
I just that's the only thing I can think of. Unless you're gonna actually like have Seth MacFarlane come and like do it. But
True.
I don't know Seth. But I like this guy. I feel like would look like a better. Like this guy like kind of looks the part as opposed to, I don't know if Seth MacFarlane, well, he voices the part. I know like it's different to actually like look the part. You know.
Yeah, it would have to be
like I don't know if you could foresee like Seth MacFarlane being actual Peter Griffin.
Oh no, that would have to require a lot of makeup and probably wigs, all that kind of stuff. Like
just the body type is just a little bit different. It's kind of different there.
A lot of makeup.
Well, I mean, hey, seeing Mila Kunis as Meg Griffin would be kind of cool.
That would be interesting.
But again, Mila Kunis looks nothing like the
she doesn't actually
Meg Griffin.
Wait, yeah, no, yeah.
Who's Lois Griffin? Who does voice Lois Griffin? Do you remember? Why am I blanking on it?
All right, so I want to say...
I'm really sorry that I took this news reviews and just turned it into a family guy.
No.
I'm so sorry. We're
doing like full-blown conversation.
I'm so sorry that I just derailed your segment. I feel really bad now, but now we're kind of into it.
We're already knee deep. We're good. No, because that's an interesting question. Because I think the actress who plays Lois, I want to say she may have been the mom. From at least she sounds like her.
I gotta look it up.
Okay,
now it's going to bother me.
While you look it up, I want to see if I'm right. So I believe it's the mom from That 70s Show. I think that same actress.
Alex Borstein. I don't know who that is.
Alex Borstein.
Alex Borstein.
Oh, that's definitely not her. Okay, never mind. Whoops.
Yeah.
She just sounds like her though. Like I don't know. She has that kind of like similar kind of.
She was apparently on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh well, hey Robbie, that's a fun segment. That's a fun little segue because that's actually exactly what we're going to talk about. That has everything to do with what we're going to talk about with the new Superman Lois, because they had just cast David Corenswet and lead of Marvelous Miss Maisel, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois. Perfect segue. You did it.
I did not even, as you folks could probably tell, that was a completely unintentional segue.
No, it was intentional. Robbie had it all set up. He planned it in his mind. The bricks were just kind of falling into place as he was talking about
before we leave, and I promise I'll let you get back. Before we leave, you and I need to come up with either like right now or just at some point for a future episode to like circle back to this. Who in a perfect world, who would we cast for a live action Family Guy for just the family? We just if we want, we can just even focus on just the Griffin family themselves.
Okay. All right, that's a two-parter. We can do the Griffin family for the first part, and then we'll do the supporting cast in the second part.
Yeah,
like who are all the friends and everything.
Yeah, that's gonna be like maybe like in the next episode. Yeah. We can like do one that's like dedicated to that. I know we're on a couch talking sports, but for like that one or two episodes, we could be on a couch talking Family Guy.
Yeah. No, that's literally gonna be our next episode. That's
the next two. We could be here the next
couple.
Or no, you know what? We can even just do it in one, because if we're doing like a full episode, we could do like supporting role and the Griffin family.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for attending our brainstorming session, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We're having a great time here just brainstorming future episodes on air.
We're like Marvel. We're just kind of setting things up as we're going on, you know?
We're teasing you guys with our full-blown episode idea. Why is my phone?
But yes, to circle back.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Again, I do apologize for derailing you. I really.
No, it's fine. It's really not a big deal. No, that's literally all I was gonna say. Was that just yeah? So we have David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan as Superman and Lois, and I couldn't be more excited. I don't know Corenswet that much. In like I don't know him in many roles, but see, that's the thing I like about this. Like I like when they cast like lesser known actors to be Superman. I think usually they get some of the best Superman performances out of them. Rachel Brosnahan is a little more different DC movie.
I know. It just I couldn't resist.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean we're in the DC talk here, so we have to. But I heard a lot of great things about. I've never seen Miss Maisel, but I've heard nothing but good things about it from people I know who have, and everyone pretty much is saying that she's like a spot on like choice for Lois. Like, you couldn't find really anyone better working nowadays to be her. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely game to try it out. I might even maybe check out Miss Maisel and see how her performance is. And it just seems like she's a really good actress. And because to be Lois Lane, you have to be like very spunky, very quick, very like, she's not the typical like damsel in distress you see in superhero movies and comics and stuff. Like,
Right.
she's actually very tough, and she speaks for her own and everything. Like, she's a badass character, and I love her. And actresses like Margot Kidder, Erica Durance, and even more recently Bitsy Tollock have done really great jobs as Lois Lane. So I can imagine she'll probably be in the Lois Lane Hall of Fame. So yeah, no, I'm really excited for this movie. So yep, here we go. David Corn Sweat and let me just make sure. Yep, Rachel Brosnahan. Sorry, I had to remember all the names. So
Sorry.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. No, very good. And thank you, Kyle, for that. Thank you, folks, for indulging us in what just became a 15-minute brainstorming session on our next episode. But you guys have that to look forward to. Anyway, thank you, as always, folks, for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Here on Couch Talking Sports, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Ring the bell. We always appreciate it. And feel free to drop a comment, whether here on YouTube or, you can always follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. Don't follow us in real life, please.
No, we don't want any stalkers.
Yeah, no stalkers here on Auto Couch. None of you 40 subscribers come stalk us.
I don't think any of them want to, but that's okay.
I think actually you and I, our personal pages, maybe two of those subscribers, but that's beside the point. But anyway, shout out, because I completely forgot to shout them out at the beginning of the episode. I shout our sponsors, I'm Organizing Wes Woodson, and we always appreciate them. But also a big shout out to the Sports Blitz with Doug and I, and Screen Time with Doug and Kai, who, by the way, had a just kick-ass episode just recently with a very special guest. So you gotta tune in to that. These guys, they're doing big things. Big things.
Thank you.
So definitely.
It's a comedy episode, so if you guys like comedy movies, that's the one to watch.
Yes. I watched a little bit of it, and it was comical, for sure. Lots of comedy in the comedy episode, which is fitting. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I want to thank Kyle for showing up. I did, didn't I? You did. You showed up in a big way.
I did. Thank you.
You made it work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, thank you, everybody.
Anyway, I'm just going to play some games while Robbie closes out the episode.
He's Kyle. I'm Robbie. And we are signing off from the couch. And we'll see you guys next time here on a Couch Talking Sports. Game over.
Again.